Hey friends, I don't know anyone who doesn't just love a yummy little slider sandwich. And around here, we don't just save them for the holidays and tailgating, we love them for a quick and easy weeknight supper too. And just when I think we've tried them all, I run across some new ones, and I can't wait to share them with you. I'm Mel, and welcome to my kitchen. You may have heard of Mississippi Sin Dip. We're making Mississippi Sinful sliders today. I'm starting with a half a block, 4 ounces of softened cream cheese, using 1.5 cups of mild shredded cheddar cheese, about 4 ounces, half a cup of sour cream. We're also going to use 4 ounces or about half a cup of Duke's mayonnaise. I've got 2 really pretty green onions that I have chopped up. It calls for just a dash of hot sauce. We're going to use some of this tiger sauce. We're also going to put in about half a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. For seasonings, we're doing 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and half a teaspoon of onion powder. And we're just going to combine all this really well. The recipe I'm linking actually is for 18 rolls, so I reduced this to half, and then I put just a little bit above those measurements in here. I'm also going to use these fully cooked real bacon bits. This calls for cooked chopped bacon, and I'm just taking a shortcut here, measuring it, just however I want to. Now we're going to set this aside and work on building our slider. Before we finish up these sandwiches, I want to share something with you that I've really been enjoying, and I want to thank June's Journey for sponsoring today's video. We all need a little bit of self-care time just for us. I always love to cuddle up and escape with a good mystery. June's Journey is all of that rolled into a free, fun game, and I can play it on my phone whenever I decide I need a break. I've even got my daughter Maddie playing, and we're having the best time sharing our theories with each other. June's Journey is a hidden object game with a detective story, and it's set in the 1920s. So all the scenes are true to that time period. They're very pretty. A lot of them are even very glamorous looking. And along with all that, you also get to remodel your own mansion and customize your own little garden island while you learn more about June's family history. And June is the main character in this mystery, and she is on the journey to solve the murder of her sister. And she meets all kinds of just really interesting characters, and she uncovers all kinds of family secrets along the way. And she's always getting herself into trouble, but she just seems to find a way to escape. And she's really a funny character too. And best of all, you can also download June's Journey for free by clicking the link in the description box. It's available on Android and iOS mobile devices, as well as on PC through Facebook Games. I know you're going to love playing too, so please download from the link in the description box to get started. You saw me struggle through cutting the buns. I always do. Now we're going to take our mixture and we're going to half it and spread half of it on the bottom of the buns and half of it over here on the top of the buns. This is a very pretty, colorful mixture, and I can't believe that I had never heard of Mississippi Sin before. When I found these sliders, I Googled, why are they called this? Because I had never heard that before. So apparently there's a whole dip I've been missing out on. And if this is what's in it, you better believe, come Christmas, we're going to be making some Mississippi Sin Dip. I've got about a pound of ham. This is a brown sugar ham, and I just had it sliced thin out of my deli. We're just going to kind of fold it up to make it fit on each little square. This would definitely be a great recipe to use with leftover ham from Easter or Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever. Normally when I make sliders with deli ham, I like to get it shaved. I like it to be really thin. But the way that this one is set up to be cooked with all of this like cheese mixture and stuff, I felt like it needed a little bit of a heartier piece of ham to hold up to that. And while we're talking about that, let me just say, I love making these sliders like this. Look at this, how easy it was. I love mixing all of the goodness in a separate bowl and then just spreading it on here. And if you just had a thin sliced deli ham, I'm sure it would work fine here. I just thought, since I'm getting it cut, I'm just gonna get it cut a little bit thicker. Now, let's see if I can get these tops back on. Woo, that was scary. See if I can flip them over. Yeah, that worked perfect. For once, a plan came together for me. I've taken about 2 tablespoons of butter and melted it. I'm just going to brush that over the top. Now, that is another way that these sliders differ from some I've made before. Normally, you melt half a stick or a stick of butter and you pour it over these things. But you know, there is a lot of like greasy stuff down in here, oily things like mayonnaise and sour cream, that it is going to have plenty of richness. We're just using this to kind of soften the top up and give it some color, I guess, here. Now that is all this recipe calls for, but I cannot help myself. I love the brown sugar sliders. That is my most favorite recipe. So I'm going to put just a smidgen of brown sugar across the tops of these. And Patrick loves it. Something that Patrick doesn't love is poppy seeds, but I do like them. So I'm just going to come down here to these 3 on the end, and I'm going to real careful like just sprinkle little poppy seeds on them. I might get a couple more because I'll probably have some for lunch one day too. We are going to cover these ever so gently with some aluminum foil. I don't want it to stick to the top of my buns. We're going to put this covered in a 350-degree oven. After 10 minutes, we're going to uncover it and bake it an additional 15 minutes. This little slider definitely did taste sinful. This was a lot on here, and I really liked this, and Maddie really liked this, but we love our cream cheese. Now, Patrick, I can't lie to you, he said this was not his favorite. This one just didn't do it for him, and I think it was all the cream cheese and the green onions, which he is a ham and brown sugar purist, but he wasn't crazy about these. But me and Maddie liked them, and I sent some home with Ryan, and he really liked these too. Today we're making some pizza sliders. Actually 9 Hawaiian rolls tonight. Going a little bit less. We don't need so many tonight. It's a tight, snug fit in this little greased casserole dish, but it will be fine. I'm going to start with a handful of this Italian blend cheese. It does include mozzarella for the stretch. I'm going to put this on the bottom because we are going to have pizza sauce down here. And this should keep it from soaking through the buns too much. The recipe also said you could actually turn your rolls upside down because the tops tend to be a little thicker, and you could do them, this direction if you want. But you definitely do not make these ahead of time and set them in the fridge before you bake them like a lot of our sliders. Next, we're going to take pizza sauce or your favorite spaghetti sauce, whatever you have, homemade, that would be wonderful. I'm not really measuring. I'm just kind of feeling through this recipe. Now come your toppings. I just have some small pepperonis that I'm going to put throughout here. You could definitely go crazy at this point. Put anything you want in here. You could do a big veggie pizza with all kinds of onions and peppers and mushrooms. You could do a ham and pineapple pizza if you're one of those people that like that. Use leftover barbecue. You could use Alfredo instead of tomato sauce. That would be yummy with the veggies. I have a little bit of Swaggerty's breakfast sausage. This is just about 1/4 of a roll. Now I'm going in with just some regular plain mozzarella, not quite as much as I put on the bottom. I've replaced the tops, and these little things, they just fit in here like a glove. I'm taking 2 tablespoons of melted butter, brushing it all over the tops of these. I always like to make sure and get all around the sides and kind of down in between them good. Gonna give them just a little sprinkle with some grated Parmesan, that old green can kind, and a really pretty sprinkle of Italian seasoning. Gonna cover these loosely with foil. They're going in a 375-degree oven for about 20 minutes. Well, friends, I believe this one was the winner of the week. They're all good, but by and far, this one knocked our socks off. What's not to love about a pepperoni and sausage pizza? Now, if it had just been me, I would have put some green peppers and onions in here. But guys, this was delicious. Ooey gooey, cheesy goodness, which I love Italian seasonings and the tomato. It was just great. What can I say? Make this one. Your whole family will love it. Today I'm making some hot Italian sliders. I'm making them for lunch for me and Patrick. And you can see I've only used half a package of Hawaiian sweet rolls. And I've got them cut in half. And I'm laying down some deli honey ham. I've also got some oven roasted turkey that I'm going to put on here. I will have you a recipe linked below that I am just very loosely following. I'm not a big fan of like salami and those kind of Italian meats. That's just not my thing. Plus, I'm kind of utilizing a little bit of just what I have on hand. Next, I'm layering on just some little pepperonis here. I'm just putting one on my side. Now I've got some provolone cheese. I'm just kind of tearing it up here. You could really just like lay it across here, but I just thought it would be easier to kind of keep them contained for slicing purposes. This recipe called for pepperoncini peppers, but I'm a wimp, so I'm using these mild banana pepper rings. Now this recipe called for something I couldn't find, and it was called pickled cherry peppers, or you could do roasted red peppers, which I didn't have. We're going to go with this. We're just going to try this pineapple red pepper jelly and see what it does. But what I'm going to do is just put it on the top of the buns on one of each of mine and one of Patrick's. And we're going to see how that turns out. We love this jelly. We're about to find out how it goes with this. I've got about 2 tablespoons of melted butter down in here. I'm going to add in about a half a teaspoon of some Italian seasoning and just a little spoonful of garlic. Now we're just going to spread this all over the tops of these. Want to be sure and get some garlic on each one. Let it run down the sides. Make sure you get it in all the little cracks and go around the edges, and it'll kind of be sitting in this too, which will make them really good, any of this extra that comes down. That looks amazing already. I'm going to take some aluminum foil, very lightly cover this, try to tint it so it's not touching the top too awful bad. And I'm going to put this in a 350-degree oven, covered for about 30 minutes. This is the end with the pepper jelly. Oh wow. Look at that. Look at all that goodness. Guys, my gosh, this one was so good too. We loved that red pepper jelly on it. These are really good to dip in a little like marinara sauce. Amazingly delicious. Loved them all. This was so much fun to make these and try these new sliders this week. I love finding something new, and I hope that you've seen how you really can take a recipe and customize it in size and ingredients for what you like. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a big thumbs up. I appreciate you so much being here. I don't ever take your time for granted. Just the thought that you invite me into your home every week, that's never lost on me, and I appreciate it. Don't forget, please download June's Journey from the link in the description box, and you can get started playing today. Until next week, I send you love from my kitchen.